there was once a time when a group like AKB48 was the biggest. You know, they were the name in idols. They were everywhere. They were inescapable. And, you know, there was a time when they were on top of the world in the world of Japanese idols, in Japan and internationally too. They have so many international branches. JKT48 in Jakarta, Indonesia. There was SNH48 at one point before they like broke off and went rogue in Shanghai. I think, isn't there one in like, I don't know, Bangkok, Thailand or something like that? There are a number of AKB48 spin-off groups within Japan and internationally is what I'm saying. And they've existed now for a very long time. And since 2006, so 18 years. So, you know, this is kind of an idol empire. And I follow a lot of AKB Twitter, and I've noticed that I've noticed a trend that, I mean, people who are in the AKB sphere, you know, on the ground experiencing it, they know it better than I do. I'm just kind of getting a drip feed from them, but basically, yeah, AKB48 and all of its spin-offs, aside from like the 46 groups which exist in, I mean, they've definitely eclipsed the 48 groups, but as far as 48 groups are concerned, they're really hemorrhaging members. A lot of these people, a lot of these AKB fans on Twitter are talking about how, like, the last several singles were graduation singles, that anytime there's like a new, or I should say, there was a new like performance or stage or something that was supposed to happen, and it's been postponed a couple of times now, and basically every major concert is a graduation event, and it's wild. And the fact that AKB48 itself, the parent group itself, has gone through considerable downsizing since it's you know, for over the last few years. They've gone from probably 100. They used to have a number of members in like the triple digits, because they had this whole system of like what was it called, trainees and understudies and like all this stuff on top of the main. The group used to be just 48 members, and then it really kind of exploded into a larger number than 48, and then it exploded into a much larger. I remember it was one of the reasons why I couldn't keep following them anymore, not only because all of my favorite members had left by like 2015, I think. Not only that, but also just because there are so many. There's this thing that I experience, at least, where when you have a group with so many members, that they all start looking the same, essentially. Since there's not a whole lot, especially, I mean, I don't know what other variety shows they do, but AK Bingo was canceled, gosh, it feels like recently, but no, it wasn't. I think it was canceled in 2017, 2018, I think. Don't quote me on that, but, you know, how do you get to know the members of the group, basically, especially when you have, more often than not, the most popular members just sort of being in the spotlight, kind of cycling in and out of the center position because they are the most popular and they get voted there, and yada yada. And there was also the whole thing with the elections that happened. You know, the AKB48 elections and the Junkin tournaments. Like those used to be huge things. The Senbatsu, that's what it was called for the elections. Those were like also done away with. I think they're brought back, but in a different form. I think one of the reasons why well, I don't know if that's one of the reasons why, but I remember that the election, the Senbatsus, where you would buy a single and get a ticket, and that ticket was a vote for your favorite member. It was a system that incentivized a single person to buy multiple copies of the same CD over and over so that they could put more votes into their favorite member. And that led to a lot of like e-waste. There were always news reports of like people dumping out hundreds of copies of AKB48 CDs, and they were all the same ones. Just, you know, all that fun stuff. It used to be such a phenomenon, but like I understand doing away with those things and everything like that, but I think now AKB48 has gotten to a point where they're almost like more of a legacy thing. And a lot of people say that K-pop sort of well, not a lot, but there was a news article that I saw shared where it was kind of saying that K-pop sort of competed it out of the market, basically. There's a better way to say that, but I just woke up. But I think actually K-pop in a way helped to keep AKB48 and like the 48 groups more viable, maybe. I don't know, because it kind of established a new style that at least a visual look, a visual that AKB could sort of like ape and sort of adapt to. I don't know, that's kind of a no bake hot take right there, but I don't think it was something about like K-pop becoming more popular, because honestly there's been so much that has happened in the world of AKB48 since, you know, for the last, I don't know, 6 or 7, 8, 10 years that have kind of led it to where we are now, where it just seems like more members leave than join, which makes sense. I remember, man, there was a time when a new member of AKB or a 48 group of any kind would be announced, they would join, and then like 2 months later, oh, they're graduating or something like that. They joined 5 months ago and now they have to leave because of whatever. And it was a wild time. You would have members coming in and out like nothing. But there were new ones coming in usually faster than you had old ones going out. But nowadays, I think it might be... some people have thought that maybe it's they floated the idea that members of the group are sort of collectively... I don't want to say conspiring, but for lack of a better term, to leave the group en masse. I don't know if that's really the case. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be unfounded, maybe, but I don't really think that's it. I think it's mostly, it feels like that a lot of members are leaving just because you don't have that replacement, that rate of replacement that you do with what that you did, like, you know, 7 or 8 years ago. And I think that's because they're just not doing that sort of thing. That's not really their model anymore. And so it does feel like that these that like everyone's deciding to leave all at once, but I think this rate of graduation might be at least similar to what we saw in the past, but you know, they're not bothering to replace them, or either they're not bothering to, or they can't, or they won't. as quickly as they used to, because they did considerable downsizing even before all of this started happening. So I don't know. Of course, I felt the same way a lot of people are about the AKB graduation thing, because my favorite members were all like first, second, third gen members, and I got into the group as they were on their way out. And so to me it was like, oh, everybody's leaving. When that's not really the case. It's probably not how people are, it's probably not the same as how people are reacting, but that's how it felt for me, at least. So if there are people who are out there like that, hello, I'm here too. You're not alone. But yeah, AKB, it's always tough seeing your Oshi sort of leave, because you don't know if you're going to see them again, or like what they're gonna do, if they're gonna continue. You know, I remember when Kusunoki Mayu left Kamen Joshi, and I was like, bruh. And then she said she was going to live a private life. I was like, no. But then she started social media again, kind of put stuff up there every once in a while, which is pretty refreshing. Then you have, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Anyway, that's all I really have to say about it. Keep trucking, AKB fans. I wish I could be there with you, but there's too many of them, even now. Well, maybe not. I know. Maybe I should get up to date with their music. I liked one of their... I liked their like 2018 album, or was it 2019? I don't know. Whichever one came out in the late teens. No, it must have been 2018. I liked that one. So maybe there's something about AKB that I can get into again. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that's just my morning pre-caffeine fix rambling. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and hopefully I can have my bigger project out soon. I mean, I say bigger, but it's not in length. It's a scripted one. That's why. Anyway.